Hey, good evening, everybody. It is Lynn Rene MacDonald for a live talk forum here on Facebook Live tonight. I hope you can all hear me. I'm going to wait a few minutes to see who's coming. We're coming to you live from the Institute for Christ Consciousness and the Copper Dragon. Right now we're just kind of saging. We have our live talk show tonight. You can call in, you can ask questions, as well as we're going to talk about lots of really cool metaphysical stuff, gifts, tools, love, energy, magic, understanding wisdom from higher knowing in the purest form, God's honest truth, as we always do, right? So that's going to be tonight's show. Tonight we have a couple people in the audience tonight. There'll be more probably coming. We have a few people who said they were under the weather and couldn't make it. Classic, right? So I'm glad to see you guys are popping on here. So I don't even roll with it. Thank you, God, for that for me. When I say popping, I'm like coming on here, right? I'm like, yeah, the word popping, I'm like, is a little too trendy for me. All right, so clearly don't change that. Yeah, I'm not into the trendy shit. So bottom line is, hi, everybody. Thank you for coming. You can come in live and you can come and tune in here. You can also call in. You can ask any questions, as well as we'll be talking about higher knowing, wisdom, truth of God, answers to your solutions, your questions, everything that you need from love. That's what we teach, God's honest truth from love. So you can ask health questions. You can ask, questions about your dreams. You can ask questions about love energy, how to handle situations. Let's say you don't get along with a mother-in-law, or you're wondering about a lover or your next relationship, or my sister's favorite,
Fiverr.
The 5-minute reading, right? Everybody loves that, right? And we're going to also talk about lots of things that have been going on. All of us are a little bit under the weather, in my household, because we have some things that we're going to talk about in the health. A lot of you, if you've been following my lives, you will see and you'll know that we've been going through like a massive health crisis, and the whole world is really going through some way, shape, or form. They know people who are going through health crisis, as well as they themselves are, people that they love, people that they know, with everything that's going on. So much of this is the North and South Node stepping into our new destiny, as well as the North Node, as well as the South Node in Sagittarius, about to enter not too much longer from now, the 12th house. This is transit, okay? Or not the 12th house, or Sagittarius. In my particular case, it's the 12th house, right? So any of you who have 12th house in Sagittarius may be suffering, or know people who are suffering from illnesses and mysterious things. And that's also part of what's going on with the shot, right? The COVID-19 vaccine, I probably am not supposed to quote unquote say this, right? But the mysterious stuff that goes on with the shot, the vaccine, the shedding, the convoluted disillusionment, that all comes in with Pisces energy and the 12th house, right? How do you get to the bottom of the truth of anything so that you can be your greatest well? Mysterious infections, right? So somebody gets the shot 2 months later, 2 days later, 6 months later, 3 years later, you're dying, you're sick, you're unwell, right? There is a possibility of that, and that all has to do with Pisces energy, right? But with the power of God, power of love energy, we all have the power to heal ourselves, right? So with that said, where there is God, where there is love, there is a way. So no matter what they try to do to the people, not based in the purest form of love, love wins. Love wins. And when there is love, there is a way. So tonight we're going to talk about lots of really wicked cool stuff. And my family, as I said, has been sick and under the weather, and it's been like mysterious illnesses, because the universe is leading me, as we've talked about, to the truth of health with God or love. All right. So right now my one daughter has multiple layers of toxins, right, and infections going on, and she's having a rough time right now. And this is all part of that energy, because when you have a different kind of toxin coming out, let's say with shot shedding or with getting the vax, it's not like your traditional flu stuff. It's a lot different, right? There's many different things going on. And also this whole show and all of this is designed to get you to the God's honest truth, the bottom of it, the whole truth, the God's honest truth from love in the purest form, because the world can no longer move forward unless we go to these spaces, right? Because that's what love is, right? A lot of people come to me and they're like, Lynn, I fucking can't even stand you. The shit you say is not, I don't resonate with it. I can't stand the way you talk, blah, 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 blah. But the truth is, what do? I tell people the truth of love, right? The truth from love, because the old saying is, the truth will set you free. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's why we're here tonight, is to teach truth of love, truth of God, truth of what's going on with everything in our lives, so we can heal ourselves, so we can get to the bottom of everything that's going on, have the best solutions, the best lives. Because until we live in the God's honest truth, or come from love, which is equivalent of the same thing, okay? Until we do that and strive to do that all the time, then our lives are going to be in some way, shape, or form lesser vibrational, fucked up in some way, shape, or form, because this is truth of God or love, right? So everybody out here understand that? Yeah. So I got my tea tonight. This is my hibiscus peach. I don't know if you can see in there. It's a lovely, like, oh shit, did I spill it? All right, it's a lovely purple yeah, I almost want to say like a burgundy color. It's great stuff. It's hibiscus peach. It's fantastic for blood pressure. We sell it at our shopping center, the Copper Dragon LLC. If you want to get some, you can order it. You can also get it yourself as well, right? And it's fantastic for blood pressure, alkalizing, and as well as a multitude of other things that you can also look up. But also, it's great for, what is that stuff? Is it edema, where you retain water and fluid in your lymphatic system, right? So, and so there's lots of great benefits from this. It's a natural holistic. So it's something that you guys, should always, whatever I say on the show, you should do your research, right? And the best way to do it is to not just look up in Earthworld to see what the truth is and what people are saying, but also feel in your heart and see what happens in your reality. And always talk to God, talk to love, talk to angels, talk to universe. This is what we do and teach. Okay, so tonight's show is the usual. It's going to be all about these great things. So we talked about the tea here. We have Steve and Sophia and Leisha here in our audience. Thank you guys for coming in person in real life, right? So you guys can come anytime, all you guys on Facebook. And thank you for coming. I'm excited. We're going to have a great show, and thank you, God, for that from us. Lots of love, lots of laughter. We have Rachel and Jen here as well. And we're going to talk about lots of different things that are going on. As you know, like I said, health is going to be one of them. All right, we're always going to talk about health because, as you know, I'm a medical intuitive. I teach enlightenment. I teach all about love energy, truth of God. All right. We teach about anything and everything love, the best solutions from love. That's what Christ energy is, high-end love. All right. So the more you work with God, the more you work with love, the more you work with love, God, universe, right? Love, right? The more you live your greatest life, the more you have the answers. So anything I can do here, you can do. And that's what we teach. And this is where the new world is going. It's about being in your heart, right? All that said, thank you everybody here too for coming. I think I'm going to take questions first is what I'm feeling like. So if you guys got some questions, we're going to kind of balance the time and see where we're going from here. And I'm sure a lot of information will come in with these questions. I'm going to ask God for new and amazing, exciting questions to teach us all. I'm also going to ask God or universe or love, right? Whatever you want to call it, as long as you understand that it's love in the purest form that you always want to be working with the best intent from love and your heart. Okay, so this said, what questions do we have, Ray? Do we have any questions?
We do.
The best of everything from love. Go ahead.
We have a few people saying hi. Sarah, Teresa, Susie, Laura, Stacy, and Debbie all say hello.
Hi guys. You guys are like my big crew, right? You guys are the guys who are here all the time. Thank you. Thank you for helping to support us. Thank you for being here. And I'm grateful for everybody. So anything you can do to donate, share our stuff, get it out there, right? Because there's not enough people in the world quite yet, especially who are standing up from truth of love to make a difference in the world. And this is why we're doing this, because we need solutions and we need a way that people are going to be in their hearts. And if nobody knows how to do that, and if we don't stand up and set the example for the world, not just me, everybody, right? Everybody from love, then then it makes it that much harder to change it. Okay. All right. So go ahead.
Laura's up first. She said that she loves and misses everybody, and she would like a fiver.
Laura Mirabili? Mm-hmm. Hi, Laura. Great to see you or hear from you. Thank you for coming. What are you laughing at?
She wants to know about her dad.
Jennifer's like, oh, you want to know about your dad, right? That's the question you always ask. Right? that tells me, though, that you miss him and you love him, right? And that's cool. That's cool, right? Okay, so she wants like a fiver, right? What's going on with Laura? All right, Laura, what I'm picking up is you know that you do energy work here, right? And you're really great at what you do. And you know, I'm sure this is what's coming in from universe. You're picking up a lot of the chaos and a lot of the wild things going on in our personal lives here at the shopping center and with everybody who is the immediate soul family. Everybody is included in that soul family from love, right? However, what I'm picking up is your soul is a fucking riot, all right? It knows exactly what it is doing. And what it is doing is it's feeling out the energy, right? And it's kind of staying out of trouble as these times get sifted out, because there's a lot of Saturn, Libra, opposition type of energy where we're picking out and not just opposition or aspects, so to speak, right, where we're deciding who and what is our best relationships for us, what is tolerable anymore, where we're going to go with our future in our lives. And again, this is also my natal moon return, so this is going to come in hard, like what I want to do with my life, you know, my dreams, my happiness, the second half of my life, where do I want to go with what it is my dreams are. So this is a time period in your life when you have a natal moon return where there is usually a lot of chaos. You're re-evaluating emotionally on a subconscious soul level. It is like a rite of passage with the human soul and the body development in Earth world, right? And across the board with energy, right? But for this particular case with our charts and astrology, this is in Earth world right here, right now, right? We have something called a progressed chart, right? So we have a natal moon return, which is coincides with your progressed chart, right? The particular one that I'm talking about right now. So there's a lot of reevaluating emotionally. Usually it happens between the ages of I think it's 54 and 57 or 53 and 55, just around that area, just like you have another one that it happens every 27 to 30 years for all of us. And it's just like it goes along with the souls and the human being progression of your life here in Earth world and Saturn's karmic Earth world energy that is the governor of universal law in Earth world, right? So what does that mean? That means just like when you're a human being, you're a child, you were born, you're a baby, then you're a toddler, then you're a preteen, then you're a teen, right? Then you're a young adult, and then at about 27, 28, you hit your first natal moon return, right? And that's in astrology, so you would have to look up your progressed chart for this, right? And at that time, that's when you evaluate what you want to do with your life. You become like, it's the traditional passage emotionally on a subconscious soul level and in all that you are for being an adult. It's like when you really, truly, fully mature about the age of 27, 28, 29, 30. Most of you have heard of the 27 Club. I think it's the 27 Club. Like people like Matt Miller who passed away. Have we talked about this stuff before?
I think briefly.
I think we might have briefly, right? But I know this started with you, Laura. The reason I'm explaining all of this is so that everybody can understand that whatever age you are, that you're going to go through this progression and it's going to show up and you're going to see it in your astrology chart, as well as in your soul and in your life. Just like, you know, after you're 27, 28, you decide, one of those things that comes with this is that you decide if I want to have a family, if I want to have children, who I want to marry. You usually just get out of college or school, or you're starting your new destiny, and what career do you want to go on. That's the 27 part of the time frame of being 27, 28, 29, 30, where you literally mature into adult. I remember when I went through that, right, I remember feeling, holy shit, I was like grounded and so different, and it seemed like to come in an instant, but really it goes over a progressed period of time as your soul works out things for you emotionally, right? But it is a rite of passage. It's governed by your soul, God, love energy, Saturn, who is the governor of universal of Earth world law, really, and it works with universal law. Okay, so when you are 27. Usually is about the age you hit this, and you'll notice this if you have younger people as they mature, you're going to see them go from a child to an adult. We all go through this phase. Well, as your second natal moon return, you hit that at like 53, 54, 55, and then you'll have a Saturn return as well, right, in your chart too. And this isn't the only things that are going on, but these are really big energies and aspects that happen in our lives and in our charts and in astrology and in the grand form of the design that is God, that you can pick up in different patterns and ways of wisdom through all the different methods and different kinds of methods in astrology. Okay, so what happens is we hit our second natal moon return, which is what I'm going through, and now my soul, is reevaluating what I want to do with my life. Right? Who do I want to be? What kind of legacy do I want to leave in the world? It's usually around the time when you start to get sick, and hence my family has become sick, but I have too. All of a sudden, it came on like a steam train, as I told you, and people going, oh, it's autoimmune disease, and we talked about this with the doctors and the bullshit, and we'll get onto that more in the future again, and probably some today. But the bottom line is, that's usually at the time of your second natal moon return, when the sicknesses or unwellnesses or the things you haven't dealt with, and subconsciously and consciously, emotionally, energetically, and in all ways in you that have become some kind of deficit if you haven't dealt with them at some point. This is usually when your health starts to go south, right? And that happens in Earth World because they say, oh, you're just getting older and this shit happens and you get autoimmune disease and that's it. And that's not the truth of God, right? That's not the God's honest truth. So we're going to be talking more about that into the future, but I'm going through this and my health has been hit with some tough shit right now, right? And it's about my crap of burying my emotional stuff in my soul, right? But the natal moon return is designed to make us say, where do we want to go with the rest of our lives? What do we have to address, whether it be, dental problems, mental problems, emotional problems, physical problems, things in our reality? Where do we want to go with our lives? We're looking at our mortality at the second natal moon return. And a lot of times, like we talked about Mac Miller and we talked about the 27 Club, right? That's the first natal moon return. And a natal moon return can be tough shit emotionally because you have to go, especially the first one, right? But it can also happen to people in their 50s where they become part of that 27 Club, even though they're a little bit older, because the natal moon return makes you reevaluate all your emotional shit, right? It really makes you get in there and makes a lot of changes in you and and especially because when you're 27, right, you're going from a child to adult, and that's the rite of passage, and a lot of people can't handle that mentally, emotionally, depression, especially if you're in a form like Janis Joplin is one of the 27 Club. And you guys can look all this shit up because it's really fascinating. It's really incredible stuff. Janis Joplin is part of that. Mac Miller is a new age guy who is part of that. A lot of these people will die of drug overdoses. I believe Jimi Hendrix is in it. Anybody else know who some of the other people we've talked about in the classes and times when we've done that?
There was that guy that was really angry. I think he drowned in a pool.
I know Jim Morrison is part of this. Jim Morrison is part of this. And these are people who a lot of times you'll know about because they're rock stars. Also, I believe River Phoenix, he's one of them too, movie star, right? What?
Amy Winehouse? I don't know if you said
Amy Winehouse, yeah. So you can look up these are people who are seriously troubled before they got to this space, whether you realize it or not, a lot of times. And this is just the pushing over of the edge on your spiritual journey, right? And so that's what the 27 Club, it's about troubled times and not being able to handle things and not being in your best space of love for you, right? So 27 Club is not designed so that you die, but some people do cross over, right? And that's because they're unwell to begin with, right? And also a lot of times too, that's because this was their destiny, right? They came in to live short and deal with this because maybe the next time they won't do drugs. Maybe the next time, like Jim Morrison may have been, I remember when I was younger, they were like, oh, he's such a hot guy, right? But if you read some of the stories, he wasn't really a nice guy. He suffered from severe bipolar, was really pretty sick. From what I understand, I think he drank a lot, but don't quote me on that, but just in case, I feel like it's true. They're telling me, universe is telling me it's true. All right. So, but the bottom line is, this is just those processes of difficult passages in our lives, right? But they're designed not to harm us and hurt us, right? They're designed to help us, right? So that's what I'm going through right now. So I'm telling you this, Laura. I know this is a long-winded part of learning. This is also part of your reading as well, because you're super wise, right? And so you're kind of like staying on the outside edge of everything because of everything that's going on in energy. And plus, you have your own shit going on, which is extremely rough times. And again, this is about us stepping into our new destiny, the North and South nodes. So these are really, really wild times for everybody. Just like just the other day, one of Jennifer's friends that she used to work with, who was really more like an acquaintance, so to speak, her husband just passed away at the age of 43, right, of heart failure, you know. So, and this is Neptune in Pisces, and this is all about the heart. In the heart, it's the collective heart. It's about you, the spiritual heart of the people, right? So when this stuff happens, this is about mysterious illnesses, because it's not normal to die of fucking heart failure at 43, like traditional normal, right, in Earth world. But now healthcare is in a new normal, and we have to go into these spaces, which is why I am not feeling well as well. And many of you are probably realizing you're not feeling well as well either. And there's multiple reasons for that, right? Everybody could say, well, from taking the shot to shot shedding to not taking care of yourself, and multiple toxin poisons. And that's really what makes us super, super unwell. And in order to address all of our health issues, we have to really start to take better care of ourselves and remove these toxins from our bodies and have the tools so that we can do so. And if nobody teaches us, then we what? We don't know, right? Mm-hmm. And then we are at a deficit, right? And health is everything, whether it's riding your bike for a half an hour or having somebody come over and have a cup of tea with you and talking to you from a place of love, right? Going to see the elderly woman who lives next door who doesn't have anybody. That's super healing for her and for you as well. Because when we do good things, it opens up our hearts and heals us as well. So this is really incredible stuff, right? So Laura, you are a master healer. You are a master gifted. You're the eternal student. You've kind of been like your soul, whether you realize it or not, on a subconscious level, hasn't really been around us too much, other than, you know, working here and doing your energy sessions and stuff. You haven't been around because you have your own stuff going on, but also you also have been wise enough. It's kind of like, yeah, you don't want to get in the fray. We had a discussion not too long ago with all this, and it was profoundly earth-changing for everybody. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to be going through changes and talking and speaking the truth to people and getting rid of friends and people and associates that no longer not serve us, but no longer are healthy for us in a positive, healthy energy exchange. So your soul is going to do this on a subconscious level. Everybody's is already doing that. The people who cannot make the changes from love for the new world are going to be crossing over, just like that gentleman who was an associate of my sister's, right? Or my sister's friend, right? He too, you know, at 43, his soul decides what he's going to do, regardless of whether he gets the shot or he dies of cancer or he dies or crosses over in any way, shape, or form. His soul decides how it goes. Not you, not me. His soul picks and chooses the vehicle of exit in Earth world, in the physical Earth world, right? So, and that's really truth of God, okay? It's more complex than that, and to talk about into the future. We will, I'm sure. So what else do I have for Laura? I feel like Tiara and Jacob are doing good, surprisingly. I feel like they're going to be stepping into their new destinies as well. They're opening up spiritually. Tiara has really great medium gifts. I think she knows that, you know that. And if you don't, you guys should journal and write. And then people say to me, well, you say that all the time, Lynn, right? That's what they say. They're like, oh, you say that to everybody, right? But what you are is what you attract. So you're going to have those things, but it's going to be uniquely different for everybody. Everybody understand that? Mm-hmm. Okay. So anything else for Laura? I feel you'll be cycling back around in the next 2 to 3 months as we get through the Christmas holidays. You'll be, things are going to pick up. But it's going to be interesting to see how everything goes down with all the crazy shit that the world is saying is going on, right? And that's how you keep your grounding is by talking to God, working with love, right? Doing the right thing from love. And no matter what you can't see on the horizon or when you can't see ahead of you, you talk to God, you talk to universe, ask for the answers, let it go, say that you'll be happy no matter what, and the answers will come in. The God's honest truth you ask for, the answers will always come in. And this is about trusting the universe. This is about you're going to be fine no matter what happens, right? And great things are coming for everybody, but we have to get through this very rough transitional time. But it's also going to be lovely. Like if I said in several shows ago, way back when, I said, oh, the holidays are going to be a really lovely time. Actually, they really are, because all of us, with everything we've been through, right, and are going through, it creates us to value each other more, right? To honor each other more, respect each other more, come from love more, right? And be grateful for everything that we got, even that much more, right? Everybody knows about that, right? Yeah. Gratefulness. And so all of us can surely say that. I can't tell you how many times I walk around and I'm like, wow. I'm like, thanks God, because with all the chaos that I got going on and kind of living in different spaces right now, and my whole family being sick, and I think, oh my God, it could be so much worse. I could have nothing. I could live in a tent. My family, could be even more sicker than we already are, and worst of all, right? I could not have God or in the way that I do, or the relationship that I have with love energy, and not be this guy. Because you got to figure it's way fucking harder for everybody else out there who doesn't have God, who doesn't have love, who doesn't get it, and is stuck in the toxic spaces up here and doesn't know how to be in their heart, or doesn't work in their heart, and succumbs to what the earth world tells them. And the earth world, when I say earth world, I'm talking about the toxic earth world, societal unwellness, the dark side of things that are going on right now out there, right? So that's what I'm talking about. So Laura, good things are coming. It's interesting tidbit from you. Your dad is all around you. What's so strange is he keeps showing me a wheelchair that he keeps maneuvering around, which I think is kind of funny. He's like being an acrobat. And I feel like in some way, shape, or form, he's trying to tell you, tell me to tell you that he's totally flexible, and there's something about him adjusting and being adjusted to his movability, his ability to move around, and the place of God that he's in within himself, in where he is in the dimension that he is in, right? Because he's not here anymore, right? In the space of God that he's in, really within himself, is a better way for me to put that. Okay, so I hope that's good for you, Laura, and I hope to see you, and we'll have to do Christmas holiday stuff, all of us, you know what I mean? That'll be a lot of fun, anybody who wants to come do something like that, I think that would be great, so maybe we'll do a fucking gift bag or something. Thanks God for the best answers, and best gifts, tools, love, energy, magic with all this, and let us have the greatest holiday time with all of us, and may everybody be included who so desires to be from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is, and thank you God for that for us, and may we all have great holidays and great times regardless from love, and thank you God for that for us. Hi Molly back there. All right, okay, I think I said hi to everybody else here. Who's next, Ray?
Teresa Courtney Lloyd would also like a $5.
I know, Teresa, I know. I'm like this, man. It's been so crazy with everything. Why am I saying that? Because we got to get you to those tools that you asked me about, health and protecting yourself. So many people are asking me, how do I keep healthy in these times with all the toxins, and how do I make myself or keep myself in the best health, when there's things like people with the shots, and if I got the shot, and shot shedding and things like that. So I know you asked me some questions. I'm going to get to that. I'm just going to say a prayer now that I get that done this week for you, and I apologize for not getting on it. I really like to be on it. But the planet Uranus kind of has me going 16 ways to Sunday, and that's really kind of for all of us these days, right? We're going through so much great transformation. So I will get you that stuff. I'm going to ask God that I do it in the next 3 to 4 days, and it is the best of everything for you, from love, gifts, tools, love, energy, magic, and God's honest truth of everything to help you be and to make you be your wellest, and for all of us, and thank you God for that for us. Okay, that said, and we will be talking about that on here as well. She would like a $5. All right. Is there anything in particular? Your house looks beautiful. It feels really, really beautiful. I've seen some pictures on Facebook. It feels like it has an old world traditional Christmas effect. Just lots of fun. I would just like to go there for an evening, because that's how lovely it feels. It feels very healing, very warm, a lot of sentimental energy, really strong, powerful love, and it just feels really lovely. So that said, you have a beautiful home. You've made it beautiful for your granddaughter or daughter, and that feels really good. I do feel I don't know. There's something about Texas. I don't know if you're going to Texas, but there's some kind of shit going on in Texas that goes back and forth and back and forth. And this is coming in. You might have mentioned it. I don't know, but Texas comes in offhand. I think that you may have, but there's something about having to go back. There's yeah. Sorry about that, guys. You can't call them on this phone. You'll have to call on the shop phone if you want to call and get through for a question. It's 757-559-8680. I think it was Stacy. She might be calling from Florida with Jackie. Those are more of our people that we know. But she's like cut into my program, and I thought I had everything shut off, so I super apologize. But thanks God for me getting back to Teresa now. Yeah, there's the hard part about this, Teresa, is it feels like it's going to be some tough stuff, the Texas stuff. It feels like it goes back and forth, but I do feel like there will be a conclusion here, which is something that I think you've asked God for in your heart, because sometimes massive suffering is not where it's at. And nobody wants to suffer over and over and over and over. So there's going to be some relief from this for you, but it just may not be in the way that you think and more challenging than we know sometimes. But that's the nature of God, and universe does not reward us from love. So I feel like there's already challenges there, but it may come to a head, and there may be a crossroads here, because this energy, this Neptune Pisces energy, is not playing. And if you challenge it 73 to 78%, you're going to be the loser. All right, that's pretty powerful shit, right? So let's say you're an addict, and I think we've talked about this, but I'm going to quick talk about it briefly. You're an addict, and you're an addict, and an addict, and you don't stop, you don't stop, you don't stop. You may come away with some deficits mentally, physically, crossing over, because this energy is not it's a raising of the vibration of the planet. And regardless of this, if anything like that does happen in our lives, or we lose particular people that we love, it is because it's in the grand plan of all that is God, in the interwoven fabric of all the things that we have all decided and agreed upon before we even came here. Our soul's best healing on a personal level, first and foremost, and that goes all with everything that is God or love. Okay, so there's going to be some challenges here. I'm just going to ask God that whatever may go, and this is how you deal, you pray for the best of everything from love. And when we don't know what to do, give it to Christ, give it to love, Jesus takes the wheel is one of my favorite lines that my oldest daughter says, right? I think she learned that from like church with her dad. I'm not crazy about that, but I can work with it, because it goes with asking love or God to take over here and make the best solutions from love for the best outcome, and ask for the best holidays as well, because no matter what, I feel like you're going to have that, but there will be a release and a relief, and I feel like you have been praying for this, really. So this all comes in for you, but regardless, it's going to be a great holiday. It's going to bring your family closer together, regardless of whatever happens, from love. And everything that happens, even when we don't believe this is truth of God or love, like even when we can't wrap our heads around it, or we're pissed off, or we're angry when we like lose somebody, or things don't go the way that we wanted to, like we didn't get that job we want, or we lost a friendship, or whatever detrimental stuff happens, you have to remember that it is all in the grand plan of the design of God or love, with our souls, our highest heart self, and the path and the journey that we came in here for, to heal ourselves, but also that God always does what's best for us all from love. Does everybody understand that? Yeah, because love is, nothing knows better than love itself what is best for all that is love, right? And in each one of us are individual love energy beings. So this is why my mother can tell me, oh, Lynn, you should be a stockbroker when I'm 20. And I'm like, yeah, that might be for you, Mom, but it's not for me, right? Because really, my mom's going to know best her journey, and I'm going to know best mine, right? And so that's the nature of God or love. When we start to tell other people what we think they should be doing, sometimes they'll be in alignment with truth of God or love that is best for them, and sometimes they won't, right? But the nature of God or love is that it always knows best for all of us, regardless of what we think of it as well. So I hope that makes sense to you all. Sometimes we'll have conversations and somebody will say to me, well, I think you should go to school. And I'll be like, yeah, I don't need to go to school. But then when I think about it later on, it may be, in this particular case, that I am supposed to learn, but I'm supposed to learn through reading books or learning from God, or God will lead me to the newest way that I need to learn. And it's not necessarily in the traditional earth world, but I may say, no, that's not right for me, right? Or I may even say that to the person, but the person still has a valid message. It's up to me to hear that message, get that message, see that message, understand that message. And the best way to do that when I'm not in the zone or I'm not paying attention or I'm not realizing, right, is to ask source, ask love for those answers, right? But more often than not, we run around and we think, or we exist and we live our lives and we think, well, I asked God for this and this is exactly what I wanted. And then all of a sudden you'd be like, oh, well, I got 25 of these. Well, I didn't fucking want 25. Why the fuck would anybody give me 25? And Are you fucking kidding me? Right? Why wouldn't you just be happy? God answer your prayers, and not only with one, with multiple, right? So it's all about letting go of the way we believe and think things should be from love, right? It's hard shit sometimes, though, man. It's crazy, right? For all of us. And the hardest things are the things that we love the most sometimes. Like letting go of the people we love, right? And asking God, like when my daughters, and both of them are not really in the best of health right now, right? And thanks God for changing that from love for all of us who are not in the best of health from love. Change it now, please, to the best of health from love, right? In the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is for all of us. And thank you, God, for that for us, right? So this energy, speak, feel in your heart, and this energy goes out to you. Your soul grabs it unconscious, subconscious level, and it is up to you to do with that energy as you choose. But your soul will do what is best for you always with it, right? Even when you don't think so, with the universe, right? Back to, talking about my daughters, and the hard times with this, right? That's one of the most challenging things. I'm praying, I'm saying, thank you for me getting well, scary times for me and my health, scary times for my kids, and it just is so hard, because I'm praying on everything and I'm working with God and I'm going fucking crazy, try to make my kids well. And I'm like, what, God, please make this happen. And Jesus, take the wheel and let me let go, because I can make myself crazy and all these fears come up, and this is designed to release these things. So really, in the grand plan, this is not just about healing my daughter, it's about healing me from my fears, my scary things, having to let go, not be attached, and giving it to God, right? And knowing that God or universe or love always does what's best for us, right? Crazy shit. But not an easy journey for any of us. And we are all going through stuff like this, because this is all about raising the vibration of the planet as well as healing ourselves. And this is the work that we signed on for. So some rough times, but also every time magical things happen for me with God or universe or love, it's incredible. I'll think that, we have a hard time, and then somebody gives us an incredible donation, or, somebody will be like, Lynn, we bought you dinner tonight for class. Like Debbie Akers is famous for doing lovely shit like that. I'm like, thank you, Debbie. She comes in with all these snacks and all these great things, and it's just lovely, and that's how God takes care of us, and or universe or love takes care of us, right? And instantly just wonderful things will start to happen. Like the other day, I had spent money with this business here in Virginia Beach, and they sent me, I asked God, right? This is awesome. I asked God for all, if we're going to do Uranus surprises, I said, okay, God, if this is the way the world's going to be, if I keep fighting that energy, I'm going to get more and more fucked up with it, right? Because you're challenging it. You can't fucking fight God, people, right? You can't tell God what to do. I'm famous for that, trying to tell God what to do, right? Clear Hill and change that in me, right? So anyways, so I want to share with you, because what I said, and this is great for all of you, and may all of you have these experiences. I ask God or love for all these great surprises that are going to pick me up and make me happy, no matter what the difficult times and things that are going on, right? And then all of a sudden, I got a package from a holiday package with like several wrapped boxes in there, right? And it came in the mail to me, and I was like, what the hell is this, right? And all of a sudden, there's all this like chocolates and fruit and all this stuff for holiday gifts, right? And you know why I got it? Because I asked God. I asked God for wonderful gifts to come to me from from everywhere, right? That would make me happy and just were awesome. And you know, it's kind of like universe throw me a bone in these rough times, right? So I ask and you shall receive. And all of a sudden, that's what happens. I get this gift package, right? You guys were all there. It's crazy shit. It's amazing, right? And then like my associate Rachel, right? We're going through all this crazy stuff. We're trying to clean out stuff in my house. We're trying to find a place, you know, with everything that's going on for us to live. And it's just been chaotic times, you know, and even just a place to stay right now has been nuts, right? So I have Rachel and she's cleaning, my associate Rachel, who's fucking awesome, like all my people, right? And thank you, Rachel. Thank you for all the good things that you do and for everybody. You know, I'm super grateful, all of you, okay? So, but Rachel's in there, right? And I ask God for wonderful surprises. And I just happen to sit down and think, you know, oh, gee, I wish I really would like to invest in some more gold and have some gold, right? And I think about that for 1 second. And like 5 days later, right? Rachel goes, you're never going to believe what I found in all these boxes that were going to be thrown away, right? And I'm like, what? She goes, well, all these gold coins are in there. I'm like, what? I'm like, and that's love energy. That's God. That's universe, right? I ask for great surprises and they come from everywhere. And the more in the flow of love energy or God you are, the more that keeps on happening, right? And the more you're in your heart, the more you do your best to do the right thing. And when you don't know what that is, ask God that you do. Ask love that you do. Ask love for the best solutions. And if you don't know how to do it, ask love to speak through you. Ask for the God's honest truth. And Jesus, or love, take the wheel. Thanks, love, for the greatest outcome. There's 1,000,001 ways to Sunday to speak to love, coming from love, right? Being in that space. So may you all have these gifts now and forever, and may we all, right? From love in the purest form. Because who doesn't love surprises, right? Your uncle or somebody that you don't even know may pass away, right? And it ends up being a great thing because you might inherit a car. You might inherit a house. You might inherit this money from here, right? Or you may get a tax credit. Or, I mean, it's incredible what can happen when you work with love. And if you do what we teach, there's no way these great things can't happen for you. And this is where the world is going. You can either work with love or you can fight it. And I can tell you firsthand that I had a fuck storm, shitty ass fucking life, really, right? In the grand scheme of things, because I was an asshole more often than not. I was toxic. I remember my dad saying to me when I was 16, I'd be like, oh, this guy's an asshole and that guy's an asshole. And my dad would say, well, what do you think about, what's that old boyfriend that you used to date from over here, or that friend of yours? I'd be like, oh, he's an asshole too, right? And my dad said to me, did you ever think that maybe you're the asshole, right? Because that's the truth, right? I went, at 16, right? I'm like, holy fuck, right? So I was the asshole, right? So when you decide that you've had enough of your own bullshit and your own stuff is when you start working with love and wonderful, amazing things happen. It does not mean that there isn't challenges for all of us. There absolutely is, especially in these times. But we didn't come here to fuck around and live a shitty, difficult life. We came in here to live our greatest life. What does that mean? That means stepping into our truth. That means coming from love. That means being in our heart. That means great and amazing abundance can happen from anywhere and everywhere. But the main core of it is in here. Right? Love, coming from love, being in your heart for you first and working with that energy as much all the time, as much as possible. That said, Teresa, you are going to make it through this. And it's not like I'm putting an omen on you or anything. You're so gifted. You see the writing on the wall and you already know. It's, if it doesn't, if these things don't transpire, they're coming. You know what I mean? I feel like the closure to this should be done in about 3 to 4 months max. Just to let you know, and but it feels like it could be much quicker and just like that, like go up in smoke like magic, like a firework, and really that would be the best thing. It's a balance. Sometimes people say to me, somebody comes and says to me, oh, my uncle died in a car accident and it went so fast and I wish I had more time with them, and then I have other people who come to me and say, well, my aunt was sick and it took her forever to cross over and I had to take care and it was awful to see them suffer this whole time, right? So, it's all about energy and what is best for everybody in our best learning experiences. However, the soul ultimately decides at whatever moment it is in at any given time what it wants to do because it's super magical. We all are, right? But anytime we send out energy and we work with love, we have all the power to create our best outcomes. So no matter what happens, for all of us, thank you, God, for that for us from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. And thank you, God, for that for us. Okay, so who's next?
Sarah Sutra is next. She wrote in that she's having a hard time with the eclipse energy. She's overworked, stressed, and drinking lots of pine needle tea. And she would like to know what she can do to bring more peace into her life.
All right. One of the things that comes up is a lot of this is we're all suffering from massive amounts of Mars and Uranus energy and electrical stuff, right? So we're anxious, or there's a lot of anxiety. I'm picking up on that in you. I don't know if you are exercising, but exercising, getting it out in some cardiovascular exercise, because that's going to help you burn the energy. Mars is an action energy, and everybody's heightened with everything that's going on, as well as with Uranus as well. Uranus is about electrical storms, so you are going to have a lot of excess energy that has to go somewhere, and if it doesn't go somewhere, it can cause physical heart problems. A lot of us aren't sleeping, right? So some people can use melatonin for that. Some people use lavender, and lavender, what is the word I'm looking for? Lavender essential oil. You can use it in a diffuser. You can put it under here. The exercise is really going to help you. They're also telling me make sure the lights in your room and your house are dark at night, because they're saying that you're not getting enough sleep and you really need this rest. So make sure you don't have the Christmas lights on or holiday lights on or lights on where it's bright. Have it be quiet. Have your technology away from you. And a lot of people will tell you, also they're telling me there's something about you sleeping with a pillow and having your head a little bit raised, something about the breathing and easier to breathe, okay? These are all coming in for you as tips health-wise to help and assist you with this. Also, what comes in is don't eat sweets, sugars, anything caffeine after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but preferably 3. So if you're going to have a soda or anything like that, anything sweet, just be wise of what time it is so that you don't do that. Like occasionally I'll be like, oh, let's get a Starbucks hot chocolate at 8 o'clock at night, and then 2 o'clock in the morning I'm like, fuck, I should have that, because I'm like, zzz, and people like us are super, super sensitive, right? So these are all tools to help you to relax. The other thing is there's a cell salt called Magphos. I don't know if we talked about this in the past, right? That will also help you, and people who have like restless leg syndrome, where you can't like shut off or you're stiff, right? That will also help with the energy, as well as cell salts that are numbered, I believe it's 5, 6, and 7, which are great for your nerves, and 1, 2, and 3. So nerves, nervous system, heart, all right, these are all intertwined with this Uranus, Mars, and Pisces energy, okay? And then you have Saturn with a lot of bone stuff, okay? So a lot of you at certain times, especially if you have a lot of Saturn in your chart or Capricorn, you're going to notice that you're having teeth issues, teeth problems, but it's not necessarily because like people go, well, my teeth are bad. There's underlying issues. Everything is a symptom of what the truth is really going on. But they say, okay, well, you just go to the dentist and you get a cavity filled, but then you find out that, there's 5 more cavities, right? Well, then you have to say to yourself, why is that? That's not really normal. What is it either that I'm doing? What's in my diet? Where am I also not feeling well? Because these are all symptoms of underlying more toxic going on that you might not be aware of, right? So that's the other thing that comes in. Clear out, do your best to clear out these toxins in your body, vitamins, minerals, and herbs to really get on these things. If you need a regimen, we can always talk, but you are a very gifted healer and you can look up these things yourself. All right. So, and you can also look at, let's say, the placements that you have in your chart for some of your heaviest influences, as well. But remember, in your health, everything physical is metaphysical. So in your heart, that's where all your stuff is going on in your soul, right? So, one of the things that comes in with Aries energy and the first house, right, is and Pluto as well, is control issues, controlling, but yet they can be a really good leader. But in a toxic place of control, you can get, the secret stuff going on, with the banking system, right? This is abused power, ruthless power that comes in with Capricorn and Saturn energy. and these are all things to take a look at astrologically in your makeup, in your personal chart. Where in us do we have these things like the ruthless power, right? And or where do we bury these things that are causing physical unwellnesses in our souls and in our physical body or in our reality? Because everything is energy, and our emotional energy is one of the biggest things we are clearing out and working on right now. Why? Because it's Pisces transit, right? Pisces is all the emotion in the ocean. With this transit, the emotional shit must be released, right? So all the stuff that I'm burying in my body, right? So let's say I'm a great leader, I'm a great teacher, right? And I have all these wonderful gifts of Leo and let's say Aries and Pluto, right? And Saturn, and I'm a workhorse and all that stuff. But on the other side of that, right, I may have buried those toxic things. Instead of dealing with them, I smashed them down into my body since I was a child, from some childhood trauma. Let's say that if my mom was super controlling and I didn't get along with her, and I might not even be aware of that on a conscious level, and then all of a sudden I start to get sick and my knees hurt, my cardiovascular system is fucked up, right? My finger starts turning black, right? I mean, all these creepy shit happens. That's no joke, right? And I'm like, well, what is really going on here? Well, there's subconscious stuff that I have buried in my soul that is literally making me physically sick. And if I don't get rid of that, at some point, it's gonna manifest into even more and more greater things. So it's important, super important, that we work on ourselves both metaphysically in our soul as well as with everything that we are, and work with love, right? And if we can't find those answers, this is all part of what I do, and this is what we're going to be working on too in our lives as well. We're going to talk about all these things. We're going to list them out. We're going to clear them out, because anything in me that's a ruthless, toxic, right? What the fuck? Why would I want that, right? I want the best way to be from love, so I would clear, heal, and change and be free of that, and also release it emotionally, right? And in the energy that is all of it, that it is, right? And put the best way to be from love and have the best gifts of, let's say, Saturn. Because Saturn, in its greatest gifts, is a great leader, teaches universal law, is about character, is about honor, is about respect, right? And it's really a benefit. Like people go, oh, Saturn's a malefic. It's a malefic if you're a fucking asshole, for sure, right? Or if you're toxic, or if you're sick, or you're unwell and you're not even aware of where you're not loving you, then for sure, if you bury that stuff in your body, it's going to be malefic. It's going to be toxic, right? But that's what happens in Earth World. We start to realize that, by what happens, how we're feeling, and we get made to pay attention to the shit that happens to us in Earth World. Why? So we can heal ourselves and we can address these issues that don't serve us, right? Same thing with your reality. When you say, why don't I have a partner, or why don't I have good health, or why don't I have abundance, or why don't I have a job? Fuck, why can't I just have a job, right? And why don't I have money? Well, your first and second houses and your third house too, are huge answers to these these questions, right? The whole lower half of your astrology chart, right, as well as multiple layers in astrology, will get you all the answers to all of this. The thing is, you just have to take the steps to work on it, to change these things, right? And you'll find all these habits and patterns that are going on in you that are both subconscious and conscious. Like sometimes my kids will say shit to me, and I'm like, holy shit. They'll be like, Mom, you do this, and I'm like, I do. I'm like, why would I do that? And then I go, well, I don't like that I do that. Maybe is that healthy? You know what I mean? So then I'm like, okay, God, clear, heal, and change all energy. That's all of this in me. And in place of this, put the best way to be from love, the best, healthiest way, emotionally, spiritually, and in all ways from love. So we're dumping the emotional energy right now in us, which is some of the last stuff as we move forward in our journey to becoming our greatest selves, because the new world is going to be... right now, we're getting the tools, we're acquiring for that, so that no matter what comes in the new world, we're prepared. In other words, we can handle it. We have God. So whatever's happening is preparing you for what is coming, right? Because if you've already been through it and you know what to expect, and universe has brought you there, and you've worked with God, and you've been through this whole path, universe is going to take you where you need to go, and you're going to be super prepared. And then you'll be able to help the people on a grand scale. This is why my life also has been so crazy. My My job my whole life was really to have so many different experiences so I could help everybody else, so I could teach everybody else. As soon as, I stopped getting aggravated with all the toxic shit in my life and say, okay, God, clear this out of me. And sometimes I will get pissed off, right? Because part of that's being human. But also those are the things that I need to work on emotionally and in my soul. So these things come in for you, as well as detoxing, in the physical, right? And there's many ways to do that. You can use, and this is for you too, Teresa, Courtney Lloyd as well. You can look into Q-Seritin. You can look into NAC. What is the L-lysine is great, especially for connective tissue stuff. That would be good too, L-lysine. But there's also the spray. What's the spray we've been using? That one's glutathione, L-glutathione, right? I like a lot of liquid stuff and or capsules that are not hard because they get in your system, right? But also building up, sometimes your calcium, magnesium, and things like this to give your whole system. And not just those two things. Look into and see where your weaknesses are and might be, because your whole life you've had a propensity for these things based on the psychological or the soul energies going on in you. So you'll have repetitive challenges in similar areas. Like for me, it's my liver, it's my skin, it's my adrenals, my spleen, right? These are all parts of this, my lymphatic system, right? Especially in these times, these things are going to come out, because guess what? Neptune is a massive part of that, and so is your heart, okay? So these are things that I can't fuck around and not address, right? So the sooner we start working on this stuff, the sooner Saturn or love energy or God, right? Because Saturn isn't just all, it's part of all that is God, right? But Saturn is the karma deliverer here in Earth world, right? So you could call the planet Saturn the governor of karma in Earth world, right? So Saturn brings to you, and it's not that you have to like beat the shit out of yourself to try to not eat this or not do that, or just do your best to start to be healthy and work on these things, and universe will reward you with good things and good health, and as long as you're going and praying and working on your stuff, your soul will bring you to exactly where you need to be from love, and good things will happen, even when you have to work with Saturn and more malefic placements in your chart. You clear out the toxic and ask love or God for the best way to be in place of that. Does this make sense to everybody? Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So those things should definitely help you. Also, there's two things I might have said too to get rid of toxins too. C60. There's a C60, and it's like an olive oil base. I think it's a carbon 60 olive oil. It's called C60. Look into that as well. And there's something else that comes in too. Is it Mennonite clay? Bentonite clay. It's a particular clay that's used to detox, as well as charcoal, activated charcoal. We're not talking about the charcoal that you put in your grill. We're talking about activated charcoal. They use it in emergency rooms a lot for overdoses. They'll use it with your pets when they eat shit to get rid of poisons and toxins in your body, because it helps to suck them out. So all of us, this is all great advice and guidance for all of us to help stop the effects of the vaccines, as well as to help heal ourselves, as well as help avoid the shot shedding, right? And also remember, the more it's going to be a journey, right? It's not going to happen overnight. And may it happen overnight for all of us. Of course, the more healthier you are, the more you get on it, the longer that you've been sick and haven't realized it, or that it takes to manifest and haven't realized these symptoms. It's gonna take time. But also be aware of how much you're doing. If when I say how much you're doing, how much stuff you're taking, right? But and feel in your heart. Ask God, ask love. You can also do a program with me, or another healer or whoever you feel called to. But ask God for the best of everything for you, vitamins, minerals, herbs, all kinds of health tools, whether it's the cell salts, the tea, like I love this tea. It's absolutely delicious. You can drink it hot or cold, and it's great for blood pressure, right? Like if I'm driving around and I get pissed off at some driver, all right, clear that out of me, God, right? But if I get really angry at somebody in the past, like when I was younger and I didn't have these God skills and gifts and things that I do and teach now on a conscious level, right? I would like be all wild, and I could feel my heart and have a wilding moment, right? A tea like this is fantastic to calm you down, right? To get that blood pressure down, right? So while you're healing your anger issues and your stuff like that, right? Okay. So all of this said, what comes in too with all of this, as you're going down this detox route, remember, don't do too much all at once. If you start to get sick, you need to be sicker or have symptoms over and over, cut back, because this is telling you you're doing too much. And it's something that's not like your normal flu thing or normal infection from old world days in earth world, where you have an infection and it takes time, or it goes quick. You get an antibiotic and you're done, boom, 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 in a week. It's not going to be like that anymore. With the stuff that's going on and the toxins and the real truth of God, we're finding out and discovering what's poisoning us truly. Everything from plastics to all the stuff we talked about with what's happening with the vaxes, as well as poisons in our food. All right. So the more whole foods you eat, the more you take a look at diet, the less sugars you have, the less pastas, and the less chemicals in these things, the less processed foods. Right. So these create other challenges. All right. It's not, you don't want to go cold turkey at once. You feel in your heart, you ask God for the best tools and gifts for you from love, the best teachers, the best wisdom, the best everything you need, because these are the tools that I'm doing and practicing with my family as well. And it's working. My daughter, who has had the seizures, is having a hell of a lot less, and the medical field hasn't really done shit for her, right? Because this is a time for us to be our own health advocates and follow your heart, listen to God, find the best practitioners for you. Sometimes they are going to be in the medical field, but the new world is going to the old world ways, right? And just teaching truth of God across the board, because we got to get to the truth about healthcare. The truth is your body should be totally healthy. That's the truth of it. If it's not, you came in to heal these things, and you have all the tools that you need if somebody teaches you how to do this and tells you the truth about the God's honest truth about what is going on with you, right? I think my one daughter with the seizures here had only had a day the other day with no seizures at all. And I was like, thank you, God, right? Because these are the challenges and the things that we're all going through, right? And I'm not going through this just for the fun of it, because I said, God, what's the God's honest truth about my health, everybody's health? Why am I sick? What is going on here? Because because the truth is, they've been lying to us all along. Right? All right. They don't want you to be really well, right? There was a time when they did, when their hearts were more in the right space from love, right? Where there was an old world code of ethics, and that's gone by the wayside. Just listen to what everybody's talking about out there in the news and the media and what's happening. You can't deny that it's fucked up and it's not coming from the purest form of love. So there's nothing that, when they're teaching hate in schools, I'm not going to listen to you. No way, no how. I know in my heart that if you're teaching this, that I can't work with you, man. This is toxic for me. And the first thing I'm going to do is say, hey, God, is this what's best for me? Is this what's best for my kids? And what is best for us? Show us the way. Teach us the way. Bring us to where we need to be, and make it happen from love in the purest form. And thank you, God, for that for us, right? So while they think they have all the power, they do not. God will bring you those solutions, and you just sit and wait for a few days, and then that's what you do. The sooner you let it go and ask to be happy, the better. Okay. All right. I know I'm long-winded, but these is all the great tools and gifts that we've asked God for. And right before I prayed, when I came in here tonight, I said, okay, God, let's have the greatest show, the greatest gifts, the greatest tools that God is on his truth to help and assist everybody from love, for all the people, right? From love, and for us as well. So we're going to teach all more about this, but this gives you an idea. Of course, we are unique individuals, so different people will do different health plans, right? And so look into what is best for you. Take a look at your past history about your chronic ailments, because they tell you where your weaknesses are. You will also find them in your astrology and in your reality in your life, right? If I have problems over here with my mom, and my mom's super controlling, well, where the fuck am I super controlling? Or where am I not? Or where am I allowing myself to be controlled? And where am I at such a deficit of self-love that I smash that into my body, and now my knee is fucking hurting like hell, and I can't walk because I have no idea why that is, but this is really what's going on in my physical reality. How do I change that with vitamins, minerals, herbs, and tools here in Earth World, right? Exercise, diet, and whatever universe leads me to, right? And you can also ask me. You can ask me here. You could ask me into the future, but your best source is always going to be, and if you don't believe what I'm saying, I don't give a fuck. Ask love. Ask love what the God's honest truth is of the answer. People do that to me all the time. They go, oh, Lynn, I don't believe you. I said, why don't you ask God yourself? Right? Yeah. Do it yourself. Tell me what you get then. And people go, oh, Lynn, you're right. Okay, great. Great. I don't give a shit about being right. What I give a shit about is giving you the best tools to live your greatest fucking life. Being right is a bullshit ego space of toxic. I don't care about that. care about love. I care about changing the world. I care about living my greatest life. Because guess what? I was in a miserable fucking space too, and I don't want that for anybody, right? This is why we do this work. Okay? This is the world I want. The greatest world for all of us. Isn't that the world you want? Right? But if nobody gets to the bottom of the truth, we can't get there. How do we get there? We keep working with God. We keep talking to the universe. We keep creating our greatest lives, working on our souls, right? Asking God to be the greatest beings we could ever possibly be from love, right? And have the best of everything from love, right? Great stuff. You don't lose who you are. You become your greatest you. It's like taking the Harry Potter magic wand and like having the gift of all that is at your fingertips, all the answers, all the tools. And it isn't indicative to me. It's the formula of love and enlightenment. It's the highest end Christ formula and beyond, right? And beyond, right? Because this is where all the answers of all is for humanity. That's why we came to this earth world, right? There's people like us. And then there's people like that are human beings on the planet who are different variations. And it doesn't mean that they're in... what is the word I'm looking for? They're in less than spaces than us. It means that people like us have done the work through time and history, and there's all different variations to make the changes here in the earth world, but ultimately it is us who came here, the highest end consciousness and all that is love, who came here to heal ourselves, right, and the people and the planet, because this can no longer go on in this bullshit. And we do this from galaxy to lifetime, depending on the beings that we are and choose to be and what we choose to do and work on in our personal lives as well, right? Because the bottom line is, me being a Libra Scorpio, I get to the bottom of the truth, but also I'm in love with love itself, and that's really what I do. But you know, even us people who are like this have deficits and things that we must work on, right? That's part of the grand journey, is to heal ourselves. Okay, so that said, I hope that helps you, Sarah, and everybody, because there was a lot of really cool shit in there. And for you too, Teresa, Courtney, Lloyd, any other questions you have, and you can use cell salts across the board. They're magnificent for, you know, all the little symptoms that we think, oh, this is just in our genetics, like eye twitching, like hiccups, like stomach cramping, right? For not being able to retain water, right? Cell salts will help us with all of these things, right? And if you need guidance, you can go to homeopathic people, you can go to other holistic healers, but ask God, ask love for the best people for you from love, the best gifts, the best tools, and it will surely come, okay? All right, so let's move on to the next question, but before I do, can you give me a time idea?
8:21.
All right, we had 8:21. Let me ask, does anybody in the audience have any questions? Because I know everybody's going through some shit too. How about, go ahead, Steve.
Help with anxiety. I just feel real anxious tonight.
Okay. Did you got your lavender oil on you?
Actually, I've been putting it on.
You got it on now?
Yeah, I have it. It's in my pocket.
So,
I've put it on since I've been here.
Right. So you've been putting it on?
Yeah.
This is what I do. I just put it like this.
Yeah.
I just keep breathing it in. And then what I do is I ask God to release this from me. And I'll do that for like sometimes 2 or 5 minutes when I'm releasing a lot of heavy shit out of my soul, or I'm having like an anger rage moment. Because sometimes we pick up the energy of the people around us and we don't even know where it comes from. And I'll be sitting like at my desk at one of my jobs or wherever I am in my life journey, right? And I'll be sitting there and I'll be like, all of a sudden I'll feel this incredible rage. And it may be that I'm picking up on my daughter's rage who's sitting next to me, or somebody else's rage that just drove by, right? The more sensitive you are, the more high in God you are, the more sensitive you can become, and the more weirdo stuff like that happens. It's like all of a sudden everybody will come into my house for lunch, and Jennifer walk in with lunch, right? And she'll be like, she'll sit down, and then all of a sudden I turn into a bitch, and I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, oh my God, I need my lavender, because I picked up on that energy of the people that were around her, and she brought it with her. Her being a Pisces, she can do that kind of thing, right? So this is all about learning about energy and how it works. Like when we get in a wild mood that wasn't there before, we have to scratch our head and say, what is this, God, right? So this will help to release this. And ask love, pray on it. Ask love to release this. Ask love for the best health. Ask love to be happy. Ask love to be free of that anxiety, okay? So, and just keep on breathing that. And then in a few minutes, it should go away. All right? Have you been doing that?
No, just sniffing.
Right. So you're just empowering it with the energy. Words and thoughts create, and then just do it for a few minutes, and then take a break and do it for a few more minutes, and this too shall pass, right? The other thing you can do too is ask to focus on other things that are going to help you better in a better way. Do you see what I'm saying? Or to be in a better space, right? So if I'm having a moment and I can't think about, and I'm thinking constantly about bad thoughts, or I have OCD and stuff like that, this lavender oil will really, really super immensely help me, right? Lavender essential oil. And it has to be a really good grade. Don't buy some bullshit $5 one, because you're never going to get the value of it. You get what you pay for, really, right? Energetically, okay? So, doTERRA and Young Living are fantastic, right? Or, it's the same thing. Like I tell people all the time, don't buy a pair of sneakers. I'd rather you buy a pair of sneakers or shoes in Nordstrom than in Walmart. Why? Because quality is everything. Quality is everything. Don't you want the best healthcare? Don't you want the best of the best of the best of everything? And when you don't, and you settle for something less, somewhere in your life, it becomes less than in many places, many times, right? Just like when we talked about the bottom of your chart being about you and your personal shit in there, right? What you need to address, who you are, right? All these wonderful things about you. And this is where you're going to find those kinds of demons, especially in your second house, your worth, your value, what you are feel is worthy, and what you feel that you don't value at all, right? Like the people call me up and they're like, I don't really want to pay you. Could you do a free reading? Could you just help me for free this time? Yeah, no, because I value myself. If I'm going to help you, I'm going to help you guided from higher power and love because they tell me to, not because you're going to give me some kind of bullshit line about how you're toxic, and, I should be helping you and I should do free shit for you because that's your belief system. That comes from a totally less than self-love space, because if you can't honor and respect and come from love with me, right? And for my services, where are you doing that to yourself? Where are you throwing yourself in the gutter? Where are you working for less? Where are you not in a healthy self-love space? Where are you not worthy? Where don't you value you? Because this is the truth. I tell people all the time, if you want to get something for 5 cents at the dollar shop, you're shopping at the wrong place. Right? What we sell is God. What we sell is love in the purest form, massive abundance, but quality, character, honor, respect, love for the self first and foremost, and for all from love, and never, ever, ever at the expense of ourselves, right? I help people all the time, right? Even on the show, that's what we're doing. But it is not because you sat here and said, I want you to do something for free, Lynn, and you called me up and said that. Instead, universe said to me, here's what we're going to do, right? Here's what we're supposed to do for love, from love, right? And my soul's journey and my soul's mission. And that's why we do it. Not because we owe somebody something, not because, we're obligated or we have resentment or we feel like we should do things, right? No. And not because, somebody thinks or their belief system isn't in the same vibration of love and they don't want to honor me. We never do that. We never do things at the expense of ourselves, because it's what? Toxic. And then we create more toxic in our lives. When we don't value ourselves, right, from love, then we have a problem, right? Then it comes out in every aspect, and other people don't respect us. Other people don't honor us. Other people don't love us, right? And that's the truth. And then you can't have a partner who honors you. So they don't call you. They don't bring you flowers. They treat you like shit. They fuck other people. I mean, truth of God is, this is what happens, right? And then you come and you say, I've had 5 partners who did this. And then basically that's the kind of shit that happened to me, right? And then I sat there and I said, okay, God, what's going on here? Where do I not love me? Where am I not in my heart for me? Where am I abusing me? Where am I not listening to me? Where am I not being good to me? Because all of these things, and allowing other people to shit all over me. Because until I can stop that truly authentically from love by getting rid of the consciousness and energies that are all of this in me, emotionally, spiritually, and always, it does not go away. It doesn't. And it keeps on happening. So I keep getting these boyfriends and I'll say, I'll get a good one next time. That's classic Earth world. I'll get a good one next time, right? There is not going to be a next time until you change you. You change the things going on in you. You change everything out here. And that's the way you do it. The higher you vibrate, and then you will bring in a partner who is in alignment with you, and you can have the best life. All right. So I know we went off about talking about the oils and the prices of things. So buy a good quality product because you deserve that from love for you. I love me, and I want the best of everything from love, and that's what love wants for you, right? Think about it. You would never have a baby or a pet or your sister or your mother or your friend or somebody that you love like crazy. You wouldn't want less than for them. Here, have this $1 oil I bought at the dollar shop. I hope it helps, right? No, fuck no. You'd be like, yeah, man, I want you to have the best health. I know you're sick. Have the best one. That's right. Because that's what love does. Love wants you to have the greatest of things. When you don't want that is when you have a problem. Look into your first, second, and third houses, and especially your second house, because this is about your self-worth, right? And we're going to do work on all this shit if you guys want to do it. Let me know. Send me texts, let me know, PM me, so that we can go down these roads and we can clear this shit together, and then boom, 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 great things happen even more, right? Yay. All right. So does that make sense to you, Steve? Yeah. So get good quality oils, good quality products, right? If you don't know what those are, ask God. And sometimes you will get a product for less money, right? And it'll be great. But if you don't work with love, right, consciously and as much as possible and do your work, then you're less likely to get there. Do you see? Okay. So who's next?
Stacy would like to know how her love life is looking.
Is this Stacy from Florida with Jackie who tried to call and fucked up my show? Just fucking with you, girl. She's probably going, yeah, right? All right. Hi, Stacy. Let me see. How is your love life? Oh, girl. Well, you hanging out with Jackie. And I love Jackie. But what they're talking about is new friends, making new friends, meeting new people. What are you doing out in the community to facilitate this, bring different people into your love life? Because this is what they're talking about, right? Not that you can't hang out with Jackie. We love Jackie too, right? We love you guys, right? And I know you guys go all these cool places together, right? But they're telling me you guys are like your own little partnership, right? And it's great, but in order for you to bring in somebody new, it behooves you to open the doorway for that energy, right? So what does that mean? That means different places like, look into things that you're interested in your community. It could be, and it's not that I'm a church advocate, but maybe you want to go to a church thing. Maybe you want to go, like here we have something that my family likes to go to every second Sunday or every first Sunday of the month called the free sale. And they go to the church, right? And they look through clothes and things like that and find really cool stuff, right? So that's called the free sale. You can meet people at something like that or a church dinner or, a community. Let's say you have a condo community or a friend's condo community where they're having events, right? Look for things like this to find new avenues for opening the door for new friendships and new people in your life, because it comes in that you are very regimented and you only do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and this is the way you do things. And sometimes you have to blast open the door and literally do things the Mars way in Earth World, where you do things differently and get out there and literally do it. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. So that's what comes in for you. And we've talked about many different times of the energy of you meeting a partner in the past. And, this is what's coming in right now for you. The holidays are a very hard time to meet a new partner, but it could be as simple as a Christmas party or a potluck dinner, or you decide that you want to do some humanitarian work in a soup kitchen. These are all avenues that come in of possibilities of things that you could do. You may want to start your own charity work in your own organization. I know that's a lot, all right? So I step back with that. However, knowing you, right? You got to change these things that you're doing. So start doing it in physical Earth world, right? Doesn't mean that you blow off Jackie and that you don't go to Florida and have a great time. That doesn't mean that, right? It means just incorporating new ways of doing and changes in Earth world so that you give universe the opportunity to bring these partners in, right? Because it's not enough just to pray and work with God and say, oh, I hope that I have an essential oil. Thanks God for bringing me one. And Rachel, my friend Rachel over here, may bring you a whole 8-pack, right? For free. She'd be like, oh, this is lovely. That's how universe brings us lovely things. But, that's one way, right? But by opening the door, let me get back to where we were. Opening the door for these things to happen has to happen, right? So I can pray for the oils, but then you have to allow like Rachel to come in and bring those things to you, or universe to bring those things by actually doing. Let's say you invited Rachel over and you ask God for an oil, and then she comes up and shows up with a whole entire beautiful oil set and says, Merry Christmas, Stacy. Do you see what I'm saying? So this is how God rewards us. You'll know, because good things will happen, and you'll be paying attention to the good things that you're doing, because the new world is humanitarian, and you'll be paying attention to these things, and then all of a sudden, boom, universe brings you lovely, beautiful, amazing things for you. It's incredible. Really, it's super fucking powerful magic that we all have, right? And the more we all do this, the more we change the world, and then we have all the power over all the darkness, right? Yeah, cool shit. All right, so who's next? So go get your man, girl, or your partner, whatever you're feeling in your heart. Who's best, right? Okay.
Anita Marmon is asking if you could give her a reading. Things are shifting in her business and her love life.
Nita, long time no see in person in Earthworld. I would like to see you again. I'm glad to hear from you, and I'm glad you're here. So things are shifting in her life, in her business, and in
love life.
In her love life. This is good. If I'm not mistaken, you had a partner from before. If you, I feel like you've moved on from that. I also feel like if you haven't started a new job, that you're going to move on with that. When I say a new job, you may have just started a new job. You may be picking up in your job, but I still feel that there is going to be your own space, your own business, your own place. And you may already have a variation of that, but I feel like there's something bigger for you coming, where you're going to have your own space and your own place, and those kinds of nice things. I feel like this doorway is going to open up for you, and it's still on the table. I feel like it's been there and it's still coming. And in terms of a partner, I feel like if you don't have a partner, I feel like there's like 2 or 3 prospects out there that are interested in you. I do feel like you'll have to pick a choice, but there's only 2 that you're really, really kind of looking at right now. You heading out, Steve?
Yeah, good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank you. Thanks for coming. All right. So I feel like, yeah, you're going to have to make a choice between the 2 of them. And I feel like it might be a little bit of a rough choice, but they're telling me in the end you're going to make the best choice. And if none of this has happened yet, it's coming. It's coming. All right. Evolution is coming into the new world. But also you are not going to be thinking... You're not going to be settling anymore. You're not going to be playing any more bullshit games with men. It's like either they can do the right fucking thing or they're out. And this is coming for you if you're not aware of this. And this is about a healthier self-love space. Absolutely. Because there is no girl who sits home and pines for her man. There is no girl who wishes her man did something different or doesn't know where her man is and her man cheats on her if she's in a healthy space of self-love, right? Or in a healthier space of that. So this is all part of this journey. You've come a long way with your Earthworld experiences. Again, the more we pray, the more we ask God to create our greatest destinies and our dreams and everything we want, or even just think about it in a positive way, like thinking about chocolates. One time I walked into the shop over here and I was like, oh, I wish I had some chocolates, right? And then 2 seconds later, some guy who had the hots for our associate Laura bought in a tray of, what's the name of that company?
They were chocolate covered fruit. I don't know.
They bought a whole tray of like chocolate covered strawberries, edible arrangements right into our shop. And I'm like, okay, this is just crazy, right? Within like 5 minutes of me saying that, right? So words and thoughts create. Know this, man. Just like when you sit at home and you watch the news and there's like shooting, like God forbid, anywhere, in Afghanistan or California or whatever, there's a shooting and there's shit going on, right? And you don't know where it is and you go, I wonder where that is. And you may say it or you may think it, but all of a sudden it pops up on the screen where it is because you thought the question. You are talking telepathically with universe, right? So there's so many ways to do this work, but make sure you're in alignment with love and all the gifts and tools will come. That's the love energy flow. Make sense? You all right, Leisha?
Yeah.
All right. You got a question tonight?
Yeah,
Yeah, kinda. I've been guided. There's a lot more changes coming my way after so many changes already, and I just kind of, I'm a little nervous, and I was just kind of wondering if you had any insight as to what some of them might be.
Okay, hold that thought for 1 minute. So I just want to conclude with Leisha, so you know why I told you that. So start putting it out, what you want from your partners, what your people, and what your dreams are. Because I feel like you're in alignment with where you need to be. You went through a lot of Earth world experiences, so I feel like you have a lot of Mars and Pluto energy that is activated and in the transits, right? And so you've had a lot of Earth world experiences in the last, I would probably say several years, that have brought you into different places, right? Because what happens out here happens in here, and vice versa, right? They are the catalyst to help you be your greatest you, and when you won't move in here, they move you out here into those spaces. Okay, so there you go, girl. Put it out there what you want, and good things are coming for you, Nita. Okay, and back to Leisha over here. You were asking me. You were kind of, your question was kind of ominous. You were like, oh, I feel like things are coming for me, and I don't know about that. Do you know what I'm talking about? Don't you think that was kind of ominous?
Yeah, it's been guidance through spirit guides and synchronicities and angel numbers that are telling me to prepare for more changes coming. And so it does feel very ominous. It's like, okay, well, what the heck am I looking at?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny that you should say that, because this brings me back to what has happened to us. When we don't find like a safe house or stock up on stuff, and the universe guides us to do certain things, right? Universe forces you to do the things whether you realize it or not in Earth world. That's also part of the reason that we became sick, right? Because we needed to find different spaces and organize and see what we had, what we didn't have, what we need, what we don't need. And this is all preparation for what is coming, right? Just like in our shopping center, we stocked up on a lot of vitamins, minerals, herbs, like when I say pharmaceuticals, I'm talking about natural products, not prescription shit, but basically the equivalent of that in the natural world: vitamins, minerals, herbs, salts, anything homeopathic or natural, and anything for healing that universe has led us to, right? And all these things happen because why? Because the catalyst was Earth world, and we became sick, right? We became sick. Our whole house got uprooted. Now we have to find different places where we can stay if there is an emergency, and while we're staying there, right? You think that this was an accident? This is about destiny and what's coming. So now we will be better prepared. But here I am thinking, why is my family sick? What am I going to do? This is about my new destiny. Why? So I can help heal people in even broader terms and huger ways for the new world of things that are coming. So when they say this to you, it's in a little bit different way based on an understanding that Leisha has, right? For Lynn here, right? For me, it had to be Mars and Virgo, because they knew I wasn't going to leave my fucking house come hell or high water, because they did this to me the last time I moved out, right? They were like, you're moving, and I'm like, no, I'm not. They're like, yes, you are, and I'm like, no, I'm not. And then the health inspector comes and says, if you don't move, we're going to lock you out of your house, and you're not going to be able to come back in here, and you're going to lose all your shit. I'm like, okay, we're moving, right? That's not because I wanted to move and I prayed 17 ways to Sunday. So if you prayed on shit and your prayers don't seem to be answered, it's because you're supposed to be doing this, right? And that's the same thing here, right? All this healing journey, like Jennifer and her symptoms, and Sophia and her symptoms, and my daughter Madeline and her symptoms, we're all super sick. Even my dogs are fucking sick, right? And they're like, okay, this is to unlock my healing gifts from centuries, from lifetimes, and clear out my emotional baggage and crap that no longer serves me and has to go, because what is coming in the future, this wouldn't be happening in my reality, in Earth world, all this crazy shit, right? If there is not some crazy shit coming. Do you see what I'm saying? So that is what I feel like they're talking to you about. Not that you're going to have this same exact destiny as me, but this is about you preparing. So take a look at what's going on in your life, and your soul will lead you to the things that you need, and talk to universe, okay? It happens in different ways, depending on what kind of energy you have and you learn from, and everything going on in your chart, not just your natal chart, but in all that you are. your subconscious chart, your progressive chart, right? And any other formulas in astrology that universe and your soul lead you to, right? But always your God space is first and foremost. Because if I want to know where in my chart my shit is happening, God, show me this placement. What is it in me that is making me sick? How do I clear that out? What do I do? Or why is this happening? I just go right, ask universe, and then all of a sudden, I keep feeling like, oh, I should look up this aspect and I should look up that aspect, and boom. So all the power comes from what Christ's formula, working with love, right? So the first thing I would do when you say, what is coming? What is coming? This is to prepare you for what is coming. And in some ways, yeah, it is ominous. But the truth is, when you're in alignment with God, even when you think that they won't take care of you, they absolutely will and do. Universe always takes care of you, right? And you might go kicking and screaming like me and my family. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I'm really sick. My kids are really sick. And I'm like, Jesus, take the wheel. I don't know where I'm living. I'm like, we're fucking eating out every day. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, I don't have a stove. I'm like, where do I get a shower? I'm like, holy shit. I mean, these are the things, right? This chaos, this nonsense is crazy. But it also helped me evaluate all the things that I have, what I don't have, what I need, what I value. It taught me so many different things about health, as well as my journey, as well as what's not working in the world, like the healthcare system, right? And what's really going on, right? So all of these things were part of the grand design that I could not have gotten any other way, because just like the last time they told me I was going to move, I didn't move. And they know me better than I know myself. And they said, okay, Lynn, it's time, right? And then boom, the shit hits the fan. And it's all in my natal chart. It's all in the stars. It's all in the transit, right? If you look at it. So you can see and have an idea of what's coming into the future through your transit chart as well, right? Right here in Earth World, and all your other stuff and the things that you got to clear and work on as well. So what this means, what comes in is, this is about you preparing. That's why I told this whole story. Does this make sense to you? Mm-hmm. And it may happen, because I said all of this, it may happen that you do it in the way where Earth World brings it to you. Do you understand? In the physical reality. Because they knew I wasn't going to budge. They knew I wasn't going to go and research all this health shit, and that they were, they led me to books. They downloading all this fucking information about everything from highest end God to help to heal the people now and in the coming days. And if I thought my shit was good before, whoo, this blows the doors off of everything. Right? And this is about being in alignment with God. This is about being able to stay here on earth, the new changes that are coming, and having all the tools and gifts and everything that I need to work with. Because the healing and the work that we're going to need, if the supply chain breaks down and we can't get something, we have to have 5 other ways to be able to heal people when we don't have that one supply that we need. So my job as a healer and a teacher, right, is to know all that is God, so I can tap into all these avenues, so I can always get the best solution no matter what comes in Earth World, no matter how anybody tries to fuck me over or shit all over me. My job is to work with God and get all the solutions, the most practical, high-end ways to do everything in my life from love. Why? Why? It's not because I'm great. It's not because I'm an ego shitty or anything like that. It's because I came in here to change the world, and this is who you are. So and it goes in alignment with each one of our journeys, right? At whatever vibration we are. And if you're in a shitty space, you'll know, because people get the toxic on. Well, Leisha, and then they say, well, you have to come do 16 visits with me, and you have to pay this, and they get all stupid with it, right? But the bottom line is, you'll know who the right person is to work with and what to do, and you already are doing those things, right? But it's not about a shitty ego space. It's about you stepping into your destiny, and all of us here on this show, here in this room, here in our community and everywhere, right? Coming together and working together from love, right? But we also must set up for ourselves, because in Saturn's Earth world, this is about universal law karma, right? If a lion doesn't, when he has a meal, he's glad to share with everybody, right? What does that mean? It means he eats his food, and normally if he's eating, he's not going to share off of his plate, right? I don't do that either. That's some of my lion gifts. Bye, Molly.
Bye,
Thanks.
Tired.
Go. Feel better. All right. Thanks for coming. Okay. So, with the lion, he's not going to share his food, but when he's prepared, he's going to then share more and more likely. In other words, he will leave his meal, and what does it do? It feeds all the other animals. This is the nature of God, right? If he has a full belly, he's like, yeah. Because the real world is, if I have enough, I'm thrilled to share with you. I'll gladly. But if you try to make me do something, oh no, that's not how love works. If you try to control me, if you try to do anything like that, then it becomes a fucking toxic fire. Right? Just like the people who get on my fucking, call me up and be like, can you do 10 minutes for free? No, I can't. If you'd like my help, I'll gladly help you. Right? And or they'll go, I have one question. One question is never one question. Right? Right? But they're just in toxic fucking spaces. Right? And this is part of that journey. Right? But if I entertain that, right, then I have less than for me. What does that mean? That's a deficit. Not just less than financially. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about deficits everywhere in my life because I allowed myself to give to somebody at an expense of myself. Now, God may say, or universe may say, somebody may call me up and be like, look, Lynn, I really need your help. And I feel it and I hear it and I see in their energy, right, that they really do. And universe says to me, do it. Or I start talking to them and helping them. That's different from a free thing. That's because I'm always guided by higher power. So I don't do free in the traditional way they do Earth World. I do anything free or any gifts that I give. It's not really free. It's guided by higher power because that's how you do everything. Because the way I may address you or Rachel or anybody in my life will be completely different based on higher knowing of God and universe speaking through and with my soul to you. Does this make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, there's so much stuff going on here to learn and do. But the universe is basically saying, and we'll get more into it too, it's saying, prepare for what's coming, and that's Saturn. So if you haven't stocked up, and I know I've talked about this on my Facebook and my Instagram and my YouTube and my Twitter feed and on all these things, right? And here as well, right? This is about, in Saturn's Earth world, you have to prepare for no matter what comes. And if you have plenty, then great. Then you're more likely to share and help other people, right? Yeah. I mean, I think it's sometimes insane when I think about all the crazy stuff I've bought and accumulated and what God has guided me to get and do. But may I never need it. Do you see? Mm-hmm. Right? But there's a reason you're feeling that ominous stuff go on, right? All right, so trust your soul, but it doesn't mean that bad stuff is for you. What it means is you're picking up on that energy out here, and the universe is saying, hey, Leisha, you can't fuck around. You need to prepare. Just like if you work at Costco, right? What stuff can you buy there that you can prepare for this, right? It could be Costco stuff, any kind of food, blankets, candles, whatever you may need for you, not just for you, but for your best well-being as well. So I do feel this is preparing for you. I feel like you're also going to heal on a personal level. Your relationship with your children must be healed as we go, or will be healed, and or must, because it goes back and forth like this in the energy because of what's coming. Does it make sense? Mm-hmm. And if you guys don't work on it actively and consciously, the universe will bring it to you in Earth World. You know what I mean? And it's not a bad thing. It's just when we don't address it at the time that we need to address it, or in the way that we need to address it, universe, creates us to address it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. All right. So does that make sense to you? Okay. Do you have any other questions in reference to that? Okay. All right. And any of you do, you can always ask, How about you, Soph? You got anything back there?
Is it cool if I get a fiver?
Sophia wants a fiver. Sure. All right, God. God's honest truth. Sophia wants a fiver. What's the best gifts, tools, wisdom that Sophia needs to know now? Information, everything she needs, and stuff that she wants to hear that's going to make her happy as well, and for all of us, right? Right? Because I can't tell you the amount of times I'm like, I like get a reading with somebody else, or I have a reading, and I'm like, yeah, I fucking hate what that person said. If I had only just prayed for that I would be happy with whatever they said, then I would be happy, right? And I get mad because we all want what we want, right? And especially if you have Aries and fucking Mars and Pluto placements that are powerful, you're like, oh my God, I want it the way I want it. And that's some of our challenges too, right? All right, so let Sophia love this reading, and let us all love this work that we're doing here. And me too, from love, and let it be the best it can be from love in the purest form, in this reality, any reality, and all that is. And thank you, God, for that for us. Okay, that said, Oh, Sophia. There's something really magical about you, about being a keeper of rainbows. That's really fucking cool. Yeah. Whoa. And this is about healing rays of chakras and healing gifts that you have not even tapped into, that are coming for you as you, don't choke, work on healing you. Right? Because you can't have super magical gifts if you have all these blocks in the way, right? It's no accident that you come from a long line of really high-end spiritual family lineage, right? Like all these people here do. So it comes in for you to keep on going, keep on taking care of you. You've made some huge breakthroughs in Earth World. You're actually working and doing things. You know what I'm saying? And those are good improvements. When they say improvements, it's not like an improvement like you were less than. Those are good things of evidence of you moving forward, right? To create your destiny in your life, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you've bridged through some blocks that you had that you couldn't do before, right? Mm-hmm. And so that shows you that you're doing many of the right things, right, in Earth World. So these things are happening for you, and they want me to tell you that, as well as these magical gifts with healing with the rays of the colors of the rainbows. And it's about chakra healing, right? And it's funny because it's no accident. Like we talked about that book that I'm reading today, and that was a reading to all you guys. And we'll talk about that too in the future for all you guys. Fucking amazing shit universe is guiding me to. I'm so excited. All right. So anyways, and for everybody, it's fucking for everybody. So up, let me get back in the zone here. Thank you, God, for that for me and all of us. And also, you are a moon child. You are a child of the moon. Okay. All right. And I think you know this, right? You are super in tune with emotions, and with the moon comes amazing healing gifts, because emotion, like Pisces energy, and the moon, right? And Pisces go hand in hand, right? Because Pisces is all the emotion of the ocean, and the moon is the mother of the emotions, right? It's the doorway to your subconscious. But what comes in is this moon energy that you have. You're going to tap into shit that isn't even heard of, like with the rainbows and the chakras and the colors and the moon stuff. You're going to unlock incredible, amazing stuff into healing into the future. So like when you say you want to be a doctor, you could definitely go down the doctor in Earth World, but I do feel so much of that is going to be obsolete in the traditional old world Earth ways, right? And the new doctors are going to come out with these kinds of gifts, as well as, holistic healing like this. So there's profound, great things in here. And they want me to tell you that the jobs that you are thinking about doing are not the jobs for you. Okay? Yeah. They're like super low vibrational, and your mind and your soul is not that. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And they're telling me to tell you that by writing, you will make massive amounts of money. You are a massively gifted, talented writer, right? Your intellect is through the roof. You're actually intellectually smarter, and this is going to sound crazy, than 98% of the people on the planet. That's fucking ridiculous. Okay? And I know it's true. That's the crazy shit. I know your father. But I mean, the bottom line is, this is the direction it behooves you to go in. Of course, sometimes we got to do some foolish stuff in Earth World to get the message. We all do, right? And but you're going to figure it out. You're going to figure it out. What's important, what's not. And you also, if you keep doing your work, you're going to rocket forward with all these things. But you're going to put all these things into books. I feel like you're going to go teaching. And you're not going to have to do any of those jobs that you think you're going to have to do. They're telling you to focus on your writing. Even if you're working at the shop and center, when we don't have any people in there, you know that you're more than welcome to, write. Do your thing. I feel like you do that already. Do you? Yeah. Yeah. So put your ratings out there, you know. Also, writing is extremely healing. And this is for everybody too. Writing, the arts are emotional healing. Any kind of art, painting, seeing, doing, music, art, dance, all the arts are emotional healing, not only for ourselves, but for others when they see them and participate and enjoy them. Do you see? So super healing in all these things, right? And into the future, I'm not exactly sure how God's going to guide us to do certain things, across the board. But, you know, I know that it's coming where there is going to be massive healing and massive understanding for children with learning disabilities and learning disorders and ADHD and ADD and autism, right? And all these tools are being downloaded to me right now, massively, because I have clients that I'm already working with, and I say, okay, God, what is the best way? What's really going on with these children and these people? And you know why this would happen too? Because what's going to happen with the vax and the shedding is there are going to be a lot of babies out there, I mean, and I hate to even say this, with deficits and disabilities. And who's going to help these people, for Christ's sake? Do you see? You think it's going to be the bankers? Do you think it's going to be the school that teaches fucking hate? Do you see my point? Yeah. But these are the gifts that you have, that you're going to be able to heal people like this with all of your gifts. Do you see? Yeah. And we all work together, and we all have such incredible gifts from love. Incredible gifts. Okay? Anything you want to know with this reading? Anything else? Last question?
Not off the top of my head.
Nope. You're welcome. And you know where I live. Well, not really, right? No, right now we're not really living anywhere, right? But you know how to find me. Okay. All right. So what time we got and how much time we have and who's next? It's 9:00? Okay. Any one last question for our closing for tonight? Who would like to go?
Jackie is asking if there's any messages from her mom.
Jackie, your mom was all around you on Thanksgiving dinner. Oh my God. I don't really know if I really want to say this, but I'm going to anyways, because it's like she's like kind of nudging me in the arm. She's going like this. She's poking me. And what she's saying is, you know, she's not always enchanted with some of the things that your husband does. That's the best way for me to say it on TV, on Facebook TV live show, right? Without getting any kind of where it doesn't need to go personally. It's about boundaries. And that's the other thing. Pisces is about boundaries. What to do, when to do, what not to do. And boundaries are definitely what your mother is talking about for your husband, as well as for all of us, right? And that Pisces energy is all about boundaries. What to say, when to say, how to say, when not to say. I get massive amounts of information from God all the time on anything I want to know. And even beyond that, information that I just need to know, right? And these are all part of all of our gifts, right? However, all because I can tell somebody their aunt or their uncle is going to die or croak or some kind of toxic shit's going to happen or tell them, you know, habits and patterns or energies that they got running in them like slut or whore energy, right? All because I get that information and can tell them doesn't mean that they're ready for it and that I should. I feel in my heart, you know, what to say. Sometimes universe punches me like your mother's hitting me in the arm, Jackie. She's like, tell her this, right? And really this is because she loves you. She wants great things for you, right? And she's just saying, hey man, I don't like that. But she wants you to know, I don't know, there's something about something with duck. Like for Thanksgiving dinner, having duck. I don't know if you had duck or for holiday dinner, if you were thinking about it, but or she used to have it, but there's something about having dinner in the future, maybe Christmas dinner, but something about duck. And she's like, she's kind of excited about it. And she's going, you know, Lynn, like you did for your Thanksgiving dinner, right? Because we couldn't cook because we don't have a kitchen. It's like fucking A, right? So crazy shit, right? Okay, so this is kind of what's going on. Let me see anything else for Jackie. And of course, she loves you. She's around you all the time. She's especially around you in the kitchen. And she's saying these words. She says she loves. Well, she's not saying she loves. She really likes the new pup. So love isn't really a word that she would use and she would be so open with, like let's say I would, right? But she's saying she really likes the new pup. And you know the pup that we're talking about. Oh, did the light go out?
Yeah.
Did the battery run out?
I think so.
All right, so that must mean it's close up shop time, right? All right, so thank you everybody for coming. I look forward to next Sunday night. Like I said, the more you work with love, energy, God, universe, angels, and the more you are in your heart, even if you don't do it in the way that we teach here, the better the life you're going to have. And all good things to all of you. Spread the word. If you can donate to us, great. That helps us keep it going, and it helps keep our shop and center going in these tough times, and it helps us help people from love and keep going. And if you cannot, I'm cool with that as well. Please share our stuff, share it on Facebook, anywhere you feel, but only if you feel it in your heart. You do things from love because you want to, not because you have to, okay? So thank you everybody for coming. Have a great night. See you next